Hello and welcome to Manapod Studios. I was about to say A Cage Sustained, which is normally streaming at this time of the evening, but today we are doing something a little different. I'm Chris Bernal, aka Krifu, and I'm very excited to introduce our guest GM for the evening, David. Say hi, David.
Hello, my name is David Bernal Brutman. I am the designer of this game, Teens with Attitude, and this evening I will be the GM for the fine folks here at Manapod. Should I briefly give a little blurb about the game?
Yeah, please.
Cool. Okay, so Teens with Attitude is an RPG of a retro 90s teenage drama and action. We are going to be creating today an original 90s action show that never existed about teens with amazing superpowers who have to work together and overcome all their teenage drama to defeat the bad guys. Think Power Rangers, Animorphs, Captain Planet. I think it will become very apparent very quickly which one of those this particular session is leaning most towards. But the game allows you to make your own original stories in the style of those early 90s shows where a bunch of teens have crazy powers and fight evil. So, I think we are going to start off by introducing everybody's characters, yes?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Cool. All right. So let's go down the roster of our awesome team of radical teens for this evening. Starting off with our rebel.
Hi, everyone. I'm Scott. I am playing Dylan Chatsworth, the rebellious kind of, I wouldn't say loner, but just a little too cool, a little too aloof. So I'm excited to see what he's got to offer, or whatever to the rest of the group.
All right, cool. Over to our popular kid.
Hi, I'm Chelsea Madden. I'm 17 years old, and yeah, I don't know. I'm just like really popular, and people like me. It's not my fault. Everybody kind of wishes they could be me, but can't win it all. But whatever. I don't know even why I'm even with all these losers, but it's okay. It's because I'm so kind.
Great. The jock.
Kind. Hi, I'm Chris, and I'm playing Pat, short for Patrick, the jock. He's a wrestler. His three favorite things are working out, the smell of the locker room, and hanging with his bros.
Nice. All right. Going down over to our slacker.
Hi, I'm Homer, and I'll be playing Pete. And Pete doesn't really do much. He's you don't really see him in class that often because he's always leaving to go to his work at which some of y'all have seen at Candace's Chill Custard, and where he spends most of his time just trying to make some money. He kind of seemed to be almost like a very nerdy kid just a couple years back, but something over the summer happened, and ever since he's just been pretty lazy and just unmotivated.
All right. And last but certainly not least, our outcast.
My name is Liza, and I am playing Nora Poe, who is that weird kid that always reading and really wants to talk to you about horses, but you probably don't want to listen to her. And her parents probably sell pot, which might be the only reason you would probably talk to her.
All right, awesome. So that is our cast of teens for this show, The Beast Side. The way the game works is as part of character creation. The last step, once everybody has made their characters, is we figure out how those characters are connected to each other. We're going to establish a lot of tasty threads and interpersonal drama seed that will hopefully blossom over the course of our game into tremendous drama and interpersonal hype, and we'll hopefully flesh out your characters a little more. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back around our order of character, and everybody on their character sheet has a couple of questions that they are going to ask the group. We're going to go around the whole group twice. First time, ask your first question. Second time, ask your second question. And then somebody in the group is going to say, oh, hey, yeah, that sounds like me, and volunteer themselves as the answer to the question. So let's kick it off back at the top of our order with Dylan. What is your question for the group?
Okay. My first question is, you regret how you once treated blank, but you can't let them know that.
I feel like my character being kind of a loser, that makes the most sense. Probably pretty easy to make fun of. Got the braces, got that 3 Wolf Moon t-shirt, you know.
Wait, that was 90s?
I don't think so, but it's the right aesthetic. Something like that.
In the 90s, it was, I have a very distinct memory of dolphin shirts that you could buy from, like, when you did one of those candy sales to raise money. And it was like some of the rewards were like an all over like shirt with like dolphins or like sea turtles jumping out. So 3 Wolf Moon is very much in the genre of that.
Yeah,
That was some peak 90s.
Yeah, I think every shirt that Nora owns probably has at least 3 animals on it.
Yeah, and they're all just like lovingly airbrushed. Amazing. All right, moving over to Chelsea. What is your question? Your first question for the group?
Okay. Which one of you was my best friend growing up, even though I can't let anyone at school know it?
Ooh.
Because it's embarrassing.
I mean, I kind of like that. Like,
Okay.
for me, because I'm not cool and I'm not weird, you know. But like, I'm definitely not. I may be varsity, but I don't.
But like, would it be embarrassing for you to be the popular kid's best friend for her?
Well, why would it be embarrassing?
That's the question.
Well, but what's embarrassing about me? I mean, maybe I'm a little sweaty, stinky.
Okay. You like the
he's always
smell of the
working
locker
out.
room. That's kind of weird.
Well, yeah, he's always wearing like a sweatshirt and sweatpants, and he's like always either like coming from the weight room.
Yeah, you're a big hunk of meat, but not in the hot way.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Cool.
Awesome. And that brings us over to Pat. Pat, what's your first question for the group?
Oh, I'm Pat.
There it is.
Okay.
Not so easy being a player. Yeah.
Stop it.
Man, that's a good
Okay.
Bully him.
Blank is your biggest rival on or off the field.
Ooh. Drama.
I think I might take that one.
I like that.
I think I probably was on the wrestling team at some point, but I just like wasn't that into it, and you know, real life happened.
Too many rules, man.
Too many rules. I don't like a coach yelling at me, you know. So I was told that I had a ton of natural talent, but whatever, you know, like whatever I do, I'll just do that instead, man. So I think I probably don't care. And you and I used to be like rivals, and you know, you definitely want to like beat me in this match, but I can't be bothered to pay attention. So that drives my lack of, you know, focus drives you crazy, maybe.
Yeah, no, that would totally drive me crazy.
Yeah, that's a good hook. All right, cool. We're over to Pete. Your question,
Yes.
number 1 for the group.
Blank is your go-to hangout friend, but you wish it was something more.
Am I the only one who hasn't taken one?
I don't know. Maybe.
Sounds like it's me.
Mm.
The slacker and the
cool kid?
popular
The
kid.
slacker with the.
I'm probably the
unrequited
only one.
crush on the popular kid.
Okay, yeah, I like that. And also, I'm probably the one that like sneakily gets you cigarettes.
There it is.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, and you know we smoke behind the custard shop sometimes.
There you
But
go.
obviously,
A friendship born of being bad kids, but
Mhm.
oh, if it were more. If only.
If only.
All right, and Nora, we're on to you. Your first question.
My first question is me and this person have been cast as the romantic leads in this year's school play.
Oh dear. Who would do a play?
oh, that's totally me. I mean, it's easy art credit. You barely have to do anything.
There
You
you
have to
go.
stand on stage and say a few things. Like, yeah, it's. I don't know why I got cast as the lead, but whatever. I'll be there, I guess.
You
Yeah,
have that
you-
dark and brooding thing, I guess.
You clearly don't give a shit, but the drama teacher is like, I see something in him. I know. Deep inside him, there's the soul of an artist.
I think also like drama club has great snacks, like
Mm.
free snacks.
Mm-hmm,
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, they definitely have the best snacks.
for sure.
All right, cool. Second round of questions. We are back up to the top with Dylan.
My second question is: you think blank is actually really cool, and you're secretly trying to impress them. Who's secretly cool?
It cannot be me.
Yeah, you're not very secretly cool.
Well, the important
Unless you mean secretly
Or I mean,
chill.
it could be that I think you're cool because you are cool, but like usually I'm very whatever. But maybe I'm seeking Chelsea's, approval.
Or, I mean, like if anybody else wants to be secretly cool, that would be fun as a storyline.
I was gonna say, I think it would, based on the connection you guys had earlier, it'd be interesting if it were Chris's character because he's like disappointed in you, but you actually think he's cool.
Oh.
Okay, that might work.
I don't know.
I'd
What do you
be
think
very
about
dig
that?
Back and forth of that.
I was thinking of myself for it, but because we already have a connection, I didn't want to throw it out. But if no one else wants it, I'll take it.
If no one else wants for Dylan to think they're cool, that's really on you. On you all.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah. All right. My
Cool.
second one is which one of you did I used to date, though we're totally and for real cool with each other now? It's fine. It's fine.
Fine. It's totally
fine.
fine. It's fine.
I mean,
Anybody?
I mean,
I'm okay with.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I might be. I feel like because I'm like the bad kid and you're the like popular kid. There's a long trope of that existing.
That's
you
true.
know?
Yeah. And it would make sense that I first hang out with you and you were the bad kid, and now I hang out with the slacker.
Yeah.
Clearly,
You
there's
have a
there's a
type.
type.
right. And I know that you dated him, so I'm like, oh, there's a chance. There's a chance.
How does that make the two of you, like, how does that affect your guys' interactions?
I don't know. My character's got a 1 cool, which is I think the highest it can be at this point. So it's like I'm pretty good at like being
Oh,
aloof
man.
and mysterious in brooding ways.
Ooh.
Yeah, you know what helps and why it's totally cool that we're exes is because I have 1 cool too, so we just play it real cool.
Yeah, we're just
It's
like,
fine.
what's up?
It's fine.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, very chill.
Super chill.
There's nothing wrong here. Nothing happened. It's fine.
Yeah, we were
I'm not
And you're
wigging.
convincing everybody.
You're bugging. I'm not bugging.
whatever, man.
All right. We're over to Pat again. Chris, that's
Which
you.
is me. I remember this time. So Blank is secretly tutoring me in one of, I guess, our classes after school.
I think it's probably me.
That makes sense. Maybe like biology.
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah, I was definitely going to suggest biology.
Oh, I love it.
Because I did pretty bad in bio in real life, so like that works out.
And that's like thematic
Right.
with your animal morphing powers. It all comes together. Cool. Back over to Pete.
Yes, second question. You used to do an extracurricular with Blank, and they're miffed at you for blowing it off. So I used to do something with one of y'all, but I just kind of blew that off.
Does everyone already have a connection with you?
I mean, of course they do, but I mean, I don't know mechanically.
I don't mechanically.
Then-
If you used to, it used to be on the wrestling team. maybe?
Was everybody on the wrestling team and you just like pieced?
Do you have an off-season sport when wrestling isn't happening?
I was thinking that he probably recently picked up swimming.
It's like, what about cross country?
Ooh, swimming is real easy to get out of. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Swimming. Easy credit. You know, sometimes it's gonna be off campus. It's easy to walk. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Awesome.
Pete and Pat.
Oh no! Oh no!
I wasn't gonna say anything, but I was thinking it.
Mhm.
All right, and that brings us to Nora for our last connection question.
Alrighty. Homero kind of mentioned this one earlier, but he's my other connection. But we can have more people that this happened to. Is this person used to be a loser and a weirdo like you, but over the summer they changed their vibe. Yes,
Oh.
Pooja.
Hell yeah.
Obviously.
Oh my God, Chelsea.
Now I wanna know a little bit about the timeline. I'm trying to not like dig in too much and ask too many questions, which is my gut impulse. But I do want to know about the timeline of Chelsea being lame and hanging out with Nora, and then dating and breaking up with Dylan. What's like the sequence of events?
I think Chelsea was a loser and kind of, I guess, more authentic and hung out with Nora and did nerdy things. And then I think being with Dylan, but Dylan being so cool, started to give her cred and she rolled into it. And maybe he broke up with her because she stopped being the person that he was dating. He started dating and liked in the first place because she went full popular. And so he broke up with her.
That's juicy.
Yeah. Leaving her kind of like left with this popularity, but none of her friends, pretending to be someone she's not. And I think that fits into her and Pete.
Yeah. So did Pete come in later, or has Pete sort of been like low level hangout friend the entire time as well?
Like, was he the one person who wasn't mad at you for this like sudden transformation?
Because Pete's chill. He's just like whatever, right?
I don't care. You do you, man. Like, you know, Pete knows the game. Just doesn't care. So like, I understand that we can't acknowledge me during class or like in public, but like, that's fine. You do you thing.
All right. Yeah, I just need to take some notes.
Cool. All right, so that's our cast. We've learned a little bit about them, a little bit about the ways in which they are connected, a little bit about their history, and now we're going to learn about the events that changed their lives forever. We are going to do this in the form of our opening credits sequence. So, we have the title for our TV show comes up, Beastsiders. There's some totally rad music going in the background, and I think we see a montage, or maybe there's some sort of a narration about how you were just a bunch of regular teens who were kind of friends, kind of not, but you all ended up in this crazy situation where you acquired these amazing powers. So I'm going to throw it to you guys for this. What in what way did the Beastsiders become the Beastsiders? What's the history that we see in the opening credits scene? Anybody feel free to jump in.
I'll grab it since I was kind of rolling the random dice for our team building exercise.
Yeah.
I think that we were all out at this old historic mansion on the edge of town, probably as a part of a school project. For some reason, the 5 of us had to go out there and, I don't know, a report, something like that.
Detention project, something. I don't know.
You know, could be we all got in trouble, some sort of community service. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, community service is good. Let me throw this at you. I think this mansion is out on the edge of town, overlooking the ocean of Beachside, your hometown. Where is Beachside? What part of the country is Beachside in?
Totally West Coast.
I was
West
definitely
Coast,
picturing like middle of California.
Yeah.
Beachside, California, baby. So we have this, I think, old Victorian mansion out on this cliff overlooking the Pacific Ocean that is this sort of town landmark built by some eccentric Gilded Age millionaire who moved out to California to spend their fortune. And I think it's been abandoned for quite a number of years. And I think the 5 of you were sent out there on some sort of community service, clean up litter around this fenced-in, semi-abandoned property kind of deal. So we definitely get some shots of that in our opening sequence. And then throwing it back to the group.
I think maybe we found like a hole in the fence or something. And after cajoling from the less reputable parties in the party, we all decided to like sneak through and have a look around. But there was some like weird industrial contamination of some sort. And we didn't realize it until it was too late.
Yeah, totally. So the local evil chemical corporation, who, you know, they don't say they're evil, but we all know they're evil, and it's very apparent from this opening sequence that they're evil, was definitely storing some sort of chemical compound, like in the attic or the basement of this mansion to keep it out of public view. And you guys stumbled onto it, and I think accidentally got doused in the stuff. What do we want to call the mega corporation?
Supergiant Evil Mega Corporation? or Supergiant Evil Megacorp?
Supergiant evil.
I mean, S-Gem.
Okay, so it's the S-Gem Corporation.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Supergiant
That's
Evil
definitely
Megacorp.
There you go. S-Gem.
All right. So the S-Gem Corporation. Yeah, and we definitely get a shot in this opening sequence of like some of those, oil drums.
Yeah, those
looking-
drums pushed over, leaking out,
Right.
glowing
Yep.
green
And
material.
yeah, there's like glowing green ooze leaking out, and there's big logo of the S-Gem Corporation stamped on the side of it. And then we definitely see you guys after you've been doused with this chemical and it's bonded with your DNA. We definitely get some like early 90s CGI where we have like a DNA helix
Yeah,
that
the
gets
helix
coated
breaks
with
and then
green
goes and
ooze.
flies around and
Yeah.
reconnects with it, changes color.
Yep. And it's
which
all
I think
in,
tracks.
yeah, and it's all in like it looks like one of those Trapper Keepers with like the 3D on it. Like early 90s.
Yeah, the lenticular stuff. Yeah.
Yep. And we see that, and then we see you finding the mysterious crystal keys that have been scattered around the mansion, and something in the crystal keys connects with something in the chemical compound, and all of a sudden, bam! You all discover, again through montage, that you have the ability to transform into animals.
Mm-hmm.
However, the mega corporation knows that somebody broke into the mansion and tampered with their chemicals, and the crystal keys, which they've been looking for, are missing. And they want those keys because they are in being literal keys, the metaphorical keys to their experiments with this terrible chemical compound that you've all been doused with. So we get that backstory in montage at the top of our opening credits sequence, and then we get a shot of each of your characters. So going back around our group, what's your cool opening credit sequence character shot for each of you? Let's start at the top with Dylan.
Scott, you're
So
muted.
Dylan comes in. He is. They show him come riding up on a motorcycle. He's got aviator glasses on and with chrome shades, and he's wearing a leather jacket. And he kind of pulls up and looks over, and then he does a really bad morph effect. And as his clothes drop around him, he transforms into a little tiny fly that comes flying towards the camera in an extreme fashion. So you're like, whoa, for a quick moment.
Yeah, and again, we get that 90s CGI, and we like zoom right into the eye of fly as it goes. Yeah, totally. All right, Chelsea, what's your opening shot?
You see Chelsea look over her shoulder, make sure no one's around her, pull her scrunchie out of her hair, take a run, and jump off the cliff and morph into a hawk.
Cool.
Badass. Pat, opening shot.
So you see this like really bulky white dude with like a mop of brown hair and a tank top, and he's like lifting weights. And like he smiles at the camera as it says like his actor name. And then I think there's like a wipe as he's like stepping out into what looks like the backyard of his home where there are these woods. And he's just walking into the woods and like morphs onto all fours and becomes a big brown bear, like just padding into the forest.
Hell yeah. Over to Pete, opening shot.
You see this like tall, gangly kid with brown hair and brown eyes in this custard shop, and like around the corner where like one of his coworkers clearly spilled something and is gonna like need help cleaning it up, but just like doesn't know that Pete is there. So you see him like almost turn the corner, turn back the time on like the on the time clock, punch out for his break, and then just like walk out. And then later,
Classic
and then
Pete.
yeah, classic Pete. And then it cuts to him like in this like almost like industrial complex as a gorilla. Having transformed, but also holding like a pack of cigarettes. Is it the inspiration for the Truth commercial where the monkey's having the pack of cigarettes? We don't know, but we'll find out later, maybe.
My God.
The answer is maybe. Awesome. And Nora, your opening credit shot.
I think we see like some kids like throwing rocks or something at like a sign in like a local park that and like or like hanging out in an area where it says very clearly like don't step on the grass, and we see like hiding around a tree this like really gangly girl with this really messy fishtail braid and like a horrible animal shirt, and you see her kind of like crossing her arms and looking upset, and then I think we just flash back to the kids, and you just hear this snarling growl as this wolf starts padding out of the trees towards them, and they get up and run away.
Nice.
Awesome. And we get a big splash shot of all five of you together as a team, standing in cool action poses, and then we get the title of the show in big letters, Beastsiders, across the screen, and there's some kind of like crazy light effect on the lettering and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then credits go to black, and we come up on a beautiful spring afternoon in Beachside, California. We see the five of you on your way up to the mansion, which has since become your hangout home base. And how are you getting this? Walking up? Are you is somebody driving? What's your method of transit to get to the mansion after school?
I can give folks a ride in my Jeep.
Chelsea drives
Cool.
herself in the convertible that her daddy got her.
I mean,
All right.
I think it's pretty clear that Dylan comes riding up in his motorcycle.
Oh,
you
yeah,
can hear,
for
you can
sure.
hear it from like a county away.
Pete
Yeah, I
takes-
think
Pete takes the bus.
I think sometimes Nora rides her bike, but if we've just had a tutoring session, maybe I'm driving with Pat.
Cool. All right. So everybody dismounts from their various vehicles. Again, it's late afternoon. You're arriving at the mansion where you, on a regular basis. This is an early to mid-season episode. We're sort of starting right in the middle. We've had the 1 hour special where all those montage clips came from, where we saw your origin story, and now we're just in a sort of
The two-part pilot.
regular episode. Yeah, the two-part pilot that they showed over the course of I think 2 weeks, probably, which
Yeah.
is bonkers. Or maybe it was like 2 nights. They did a special.
Yeah, it's one of those
Yeah.
fall coming back. You know, they
Coming
jump start the
soon.
show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there was a real tremendous cliffhanger at the end of the first part. Oh God, what an episode! But we're not going to see that one.
right?
We're seeing a different one. So all of you get out of your various vehicles, and you're headed up to the mansion on this cliff overlooking the sea. What's the mansion called? What's the name of it?
Something with beachside in it, maybe. Or maybe not.
Old man beachside. Kid when he came out here. Yeah.
Or something else.
Bayview? I don't know.
Yeah,
Ooh,
Bayview
I
Manor.
like that. Yeah.
Baby man.
Bayview Manor. I like that. Bayview Manor.
I am real good at cliches.
Cool. All right. So so we see you guys going up to Bayview Manor. It is as it has always been, fenced in. There's something different today. Today there are a handful of people outside. Some folks have set up a folding table with a big banner draped over it. And it says in big block letters, "Save Bayview Manor." And you all recognize amongst this, half dozen people who are there, who are handing out various flyers. You see with a big old stack of flyers on like pink copier paper from the local copy shop, your classmate, who is named, I did write down a name for this, which I have lost in my notes. Clarissa Moon. Clarissa Moon is kind of a bit of a spacey girl, long dark hair. She's dressed in a cardigan and a flower print skirt and some Birkenstock. And as she sees you coming up, she says, hey guys, what's up? How you doing? Did you come out here to save Bayview Manor? We're handing out flyers.
Yeah, that's exactly what we did.
Great. I'm so glad you guys want to help out. It's like such a good cause, you know? And she hands each of you a flyer, which is also stamped with big, bold words, "Save Bayview Manor." This has clearly been made on one of the school computers in the archaic word processing program, printed out, taken to the local copy shop, and copied off on the photocopier. It uses every font on the system. There are 5 of them, and which is very advanced for the current year, which is, I don't believe we mentioned, 1993.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Oh, dang it. I gotta update my references. Hold on.
I think Dylan crumples up the paper and pulls out a cigarette and says, my reasons coming out to the BVM are my own. So, what's yours?
Oh, well, like, Dylan, don't you want to save Bayview Manor? It's like a major historical site. So
What's
here,
the point, man?
Save it from what? It's totally fine.
Do we have to do anything?
well, you have to spread the word. We want to get everybody in town to get together because the SGGM Corporation, SGEM or whatever. Do you
SGEM.
say it?
I
do
think
you
it's pronounced
speak
SGEM.
it out?
But I don't
Oh.
know. I've just heard some business guys talking about it, I guess.
Yeah, okay, well, the SGEM Corporation, they went to one of the town board meetings and they're trying to buy up the property, and that's no good, right? Because this is a historical site. And we, us, and she gestures to the people around her in the Save the Bayview Manor Foundation, we want to take this place and turn it into a museum of town history so that everybody can know about Bayview. Clean it up and stuff, and get tours coming through here every day, and just make it a nice place where everybody in the town can come.
I mean, you want to make a monument to the history of capitalism in this state? I mean, okay, whatever.
Yeah, and that's impossible, man, because this place is public property. It's, like me, it's not for sale.
And also,
So-
who's going to come to a party that you're throwing, Space Cadet?
Ooh. I think all 3 of you have just triggered our first couple of moves of the game. You're all making some drama.
Sounds like.
Yeah. So the way this works for people who aren't familiar with this sort of game is whenever the characters do something that would swerve the story in some unexpected direction, they will make a move. In general, a move calls for the character to roll some dice and add some numbers to those dice, which are based on their character traits, which are contained in their character playbooks. So you'll hear us as we go through calling for moves or asking to make moves. And the first move that we're going to make here is Make Drama. So the Make Drama move happens in a couple of different cases in this game. And I think very specifically in this case, all 3 of you, Nora, Dylan, and Chelsea, you're provoking someone with your words or actions, and the person in this case being Clarissa Moon. So could each of you separately give me a roll? And I think this is going to be plus sharp, because these are kind of
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh.
So when you roll in this game, you roll 2 d6s, and then you add your relevant trait to the result. And then based on what the outcome is, there are 3 possible results. So let's see what everybody got. We will
I rolled a
go
6.
back up to the order.
So did I.
Yeah, so
I rolled a
Okay.
3.
ooh. All right. So a 6 or less in this game is a failure. Things are going to get worse for all of you. However, as a consolation prize, you all gain +1 attitude.
Woohoo.
Attitude is a resource in the game that the teens are going to build up as they experience complications in their lives throughout the episode, and they're going to be able to spend it throughout the episode to do cool stuff like use powers or in the future, maybe avoid rolling a 6 by bumping up their roll by adding some attitude. So everybody gets +1 attitude, or everybody who failed the roll rather gets +1 attitude. You should have also all started with 1 attitude, just to make sure that bit of housekeeping is done. So on a 6- to make drama, your drama backfires. Things get worse, but you gain that attitude. So I think the way that this is going to manifest is Clarissa, who is normally pretty chill and spacey, is going to get really huffy and bar you from entering your secret base, which is the man. So Clarissa sort of gets up in all of your faces. Dylan, you've already crumpled up your flyer, but Nora and Chelsea, Clarissa snatches the flyers out of your hands and says, well, like, if you don't want to help, then just, like, shove off, okay? You know, we don't even need you here, all right? We're going to save Bayview Manor all by ourselves, and you losers can go do whatever it is you're going to do if you're not going to be helpful, okay? So just buzz off. Jeesh.
Shit, that's my line.
And she stands there and crosses her arm very firmly in front of the manor. What are you guys gonna do? I want to know. I want to know about Pat and Pete's reaction here. What's your reaction to the proceedings?
Pete looks at like
thus
Chelsea, and he's just like, "Nice, like thanks for getting us out of that. Perfect. Just like you did good." And just like kind of like follows. Like I'm assuming if they're listening to Clarissa and just like exiting the area or just like moving away, like Pete's just following along, just like, "All right, first problem avoided. Don't have to do extra work."
And I'm like looking at you, Pete, and I'm like, and I like hug your sleeve, and I'm like, but that's a bad thing. We want to save the manor, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say you should just, think about like turning it into a conservation site or something. But like the history is problematic, so like recognizing that is important. But I didn't have a chance to finish.
Well, like, I don't think it matters, what the plans are if there isn't gonna be a manor in. Well, how long do we have, Clarissa?
Thank you, Pat. I'm like so glad that somebody is showing some interest here. I don't actually know.
Like, are they gonna? But like, they're gonna tear it down tomorrow?
Like maybe it could be at any moment. We don't know. We just gotta save it. It's like super important.
Well, I saw this thing on the news about activists like chaining themselves to trees. We could try that.
Yeah, like when they bring in the bulldozers, we're definitely gonna do that for sure. But hopefully we like won't have to, because maybe the town will like rally when we hand out the flyers. Do you want another flyer? I can like give you another flyer.
Well, I can
like
hand them out in my Jeep.
Oh
like
my
a
god,
stack?
would you do that? That would be like so nice.
But he looks back at everyone. Maybe we should like check out the mansion real quick, see how it is. Like everyone, all
So
of us
Pat,
together, like friends.
it seems like you're kind of trying to Marissa a little bit, get around her and get everybody into the mansion. Is that a correct reading? Cool.
Definitely.
All right. So, give me a roll to keep your cool here as you try to do this manipulation. And that's going to be a roll plus your
12.
Nice.
Double
Heck
sixes.
yeah. All right, that is the best you can do. So on a 10 plus in this game, that is a full success. For keep your cool, you do it. So Clarissa's like, yeah, I guess. If you want to like go in and check it out, are you gonna bring them? Because they didn't seem like they really respected the place so much.
Well, us slackers, it's hard for us to care about anything.
I have no problem with the manor. What I have problems with is somebody wearing flowers after the 70s. I'm
Seriously.
trying to diss her for being uncool and being judgy.
All right. You're making some more drama, Chelsea.
Well, I was trying
I am
the
also gonna
move I
give you-
have
Yeah.
for the judgy. Is that different than drama, or is it the same?
Those let me actually check how this is written. So those when you're judgy, you make drama. When you make drama by dissing someone for being uncool, which you gain +1 extra attitude. So you're still gonna make that
Roll.
that make drama move, but you're
Okay.
guaranteed to get extra attitude because you are judgy.
So,
So-
okay.
Give me a roll plus cool because you're leaning on coolness here.
Alrighty. 10.
10. That is another full success. So I think so you get away with it, and you're gonna gain 3 attitude total.
Whoa.
Ooh.
So you gain the 2 attitude for the full success, and you're gonna gain an attitude for your popular kid move that you made in addition to that. So this is real good for you, and you totally get away with this diss. Clarissa is just like, oh, well, like I thought flowers were cool, but I guess you know best or whatever. Okay, so I'm gonna hand out more flyers. You guys can go like check the stuff out or whatever. I'll see you around. Bye, Pat. And she sort of slinks off around the side of the table, pretty dejected. That was pretty savage, Chelsea. So,
I the player, feel bad about that.
As you should.
As we're walking into
That's
the
how it goes. Yeah.
into the mansion, I'm gonna kind of sidle up next to Chelsea and be like, "Don't you have a flower bedspread, Chelsea?"
Oh my god, that was like 2 years ago. Whatever.
Oh,
And I don't know if you could tell, but I was very fast to come up with that answer, and it might not entirely be true.
All right, so we have that little vignette walking up into the manor. So all of you are now in Bayview Manor. You have free run of the place as you usually do. What's your plan for?
Well, I'll kind of like look at. I mean, why were we meeting? Did we have? Is that just something we do, or did we have like a reason?
So I think as the producer, I think you guys have been meeting regularly at the manor to sort of figure out your powers, practice with what you're doing, plan next steps when you need to, try to figure out what you're going to do about the SGEM Corporation, which you know is actively looking for you. They have definitely been poking around your school, trying to figure out, because they know that somebody got into the manor, and they know that somebody has those crystal keys, but they don't know who. And they are very much trying to figure that out. For what reason, not 100% clear yet, but whatever it is, it's not good.
So I just had a vision of the 5 of us like walking up to these like big double doors with like 5 different locks on them.
oh,
And like we all have to put our keys in to like open up into like this meeting room or ballroom. I don't know what's inside, but I feel like that's super thematic.
well,
right?
is that where the special stuff that's in the hideout is? Is in that room?
Oh yeah, well, the
'Cause
stuff
we
that
have- We have long range comms and what's the other one we have, Chris?
laboratory or workshop.
Yeah, so I'm guessing it's like,
Okay.
is it like an SGEM facility or not, do we think? Or just something they're trying to get their hands on in here?
I don't know if we know.
I don't know if we know either. I'm like kind of looking around like, you guys, if SGEM gets in here, they're going to figure out it was us, and they're going to take us away to some lab and test us like rats or bunnies. And do you know the survivability rates on things like that? Because it's really low.
Hey,
I mean, and the complexity of a genome of us compared to like that, it's going to be way painful.
Nora, be cool. The problem is we don't want SGEM gang in here, but we don't want school trips coming through here either. We want people to forget this place exists, which is why we crumple up the paper, we walk away, we don't help them send, the next to do arts and craft projects in here and make this a museum. That doesn't help us anymore. We got to keep it totally on the DL.
That's totally why I was so mean to her. I'm just trying to get her to go away so they don't turn this place into a museum.
Chelsea, you get it.
I wasn't
The
trying.
rest of you guys are
totally.
being like teachers' pets and trying to be like get on good with Clarissa Moonchild.
But
Reality,
Clarissa's helping to save this place from SGEM.
No, she's trying to save SGEM, but also get herself in. This is our spot.
And
But
they
this
like
is
totally
violence.
charge ticket prices to come into the museum. So, as far as like the whole capitalism thing goes, it's not much better.
And if they turn it into a museum, SGEM's just going to buy their way onto the board of directors.
I know.
Get it that way. Maybe we should do a Scooby-Doo thing and convince them that the mansion is haunted, and then they won't want to buy it.
And I think, Nora, as you say that, the door chimes, which you have never heard before in this manner, ring, and they are very loud. Bong, 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 bong. They just rattle the beam of this building.
Oh my god, are we in church or something? What's going on?
Hey, relax. It's just a door, and I go walking over to it with a certain amount of bravado.
All right, Dylan, are you going to open up the door, or are you going to just look out?
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'll open the door.
Okay, so you go back foyer, and you
I want to follow. I
open
don't
up.
want to let him go alone.
Okay, cool. Is anybody else following along, or
I think
Pete's
I'm
gonna
like,
somebody you hanging back?
I'm imagining that the foyer, but we're upstairs from it. So I'm gonna army crawl and look over the banister down
Okay,
there,
cool.
so
So
that
you're,
no
you're
one
sort
can
of
see
on the
me.
balcony.
Yeah.
Cool.
Pete
cool.
will join you.
All
Yeah,
right.
perfect.
Yep.
So
Chelsea?
So Dylan, you open up the front door of Bayview Manor, and standing there is a somewhat smallish man, older guy, bald, in a suit, like a brown suit. He is carrying a briefcase. He has what looks to be a kind of an expensive gold watch on, and you can see a little ways down in the kind of front yard of the manor, on sort of the pathway that leads up from the gate to the door. There's a couple of guys, sort of nondescript guys in dark suits with sunglasses, and you can see that there's a black town car parked out front, just next to the table with the activists at it. And the man sort of straightens his tie and says to you, "Yeah, hi there. My name is Wallace Randall. I'm a lawyer with the SGEM Corporation, and I was wondering if you kids were supposed to be here. Are you with those folks out front?"
I'm with one person, myself. So maybe you should take what's your damage, Dickweed? You can take you and your loser convention could go elsewhere.
Dylan, please take an attitude as you have successfully delivered a one-line. So Randall sort of swallows and looks nervous for a second, but then puts on kind of a slimy smile and says to you, "Okay, son. So you're clearly not supposed to be here. This is about to be SGEM Corporation property. We are planning to buy this plot and demolish this old eyesore to put up a chemical plant, which will, of course, benefit the town, including you if get on the straight and narrow path, get your grades up. I assume they're terrible just looking at you, and maybe someday you can have a low-level job at the chemical plant and make some money for yourself, son. Now, none of you are supposed to be here. That much, as I've said, is clear, and I would very much appreciate you and whoever else is in the house would vacate the premise.
Well, that's a real interesting proposition, but my friend, I pull over, Pat over, so I'm gonna and then I'm like, so he comes looming over. It's like, first of all, I'm not your son. Second of all, I'd like to see what you and your little team of lawyers are gonna do to get this guy out of here.
Yeah, you don't own the place yet, right?
And Randall sort of looks up at you, Pat. You are significantly taller than him, and he says, "Well, no, the SGEM Corporation is in preliminary talks to purchase this property. However, we will own it shortly, and before that time, we would appreciate it if there were nobody here. Again, this is going to be an active demolition site."
As he's saying that, I have a question. Are these dudes like wearing like radio earpieces or anything?
Nora, give me a roll to get the 411.
Okay.
That's going to be plus sharp because you are observing the situation.
Sounds good. 9.
Nice.
9. Cool. Okay. So for the move, get the 411 on a 7 to 9. This game a mixed success result. You get to ask me a question. I have to give you a truthful answer as the producer, but you might not like it. So what's your question for me?
My question, if it's cool that I pick one that's not on this list.
Yes, you can just reiterate what you just said. That's completely
Are they
acceptable.
wearing like
So,
earpieces?
Yeah, they are definitely wearing radio earpieces, and you, Nora, I think noticed that they have on their wrist what at first glance appear to be watches, similar to the watch that Randall, the lead lawyer in the brown suit, had. But you notice that the faces of the watches are some sort of like weird off-color crystal.
Well, I don't like that one bit. And thinking back on my earlier plan of like convincing them this place is haunted, right as they're talking about demolition, what I want to do is like scoot back away from it. And I'm going to like try and like focus on the wolf inside me and like let out a like subsonic howl to try and like fuck with their earpieces and make them like get a headache or something.
Cool, I love that.
I have a move called Freak.
Yeah.
So I can do like weird stuff with my power.
Whoa. Because I was like, what? That doesn't sound
Heck yeah.
okay. Yeah. All right.
So
Right. So you
maybe like
actually
using
you have a lot of option here. Yeah, that could definitely be a use tech because you're trying to manipulate their technology. So yeah, give me a roll to use tech, and you can roll plus weird with your freak power.
And do I get a +1 since I'm immediately acting on the info I gained from my get the
You
411?
sure do. Yep. 100%.
Nice.
I rolled a 12.
Yeah.
Oh,
Own. All right. So for use tech on a 10 plus, the tech works exactly the way you want it to. So describe to me what this looks like or sounds as you do the subsonic howl and mess with all these guys' earpieces and ears, I suppose.
Mostly we just see them all like clutching at their ears and like the watch faces start like changing colors. And after a second, just the super high-pitched sound fades and they just hear, "Get out!"
Ooh. Yeah, and they are they're clutching their heads. They like and then when you do that they you can just see like the color drain from their faces, and they look spooked. One of them sort of rushes up and whispers into the lawyer's ear, and you hear something like, "Get out of here right now! There's something weird going on." And Randall sort of turns to you, back to you, Dylan and Pat, and says, "All right, well, I can see we aren't going to make any progress here right now. We'll be back, and when we are, I hope you're not here for your sake."
Well,
And then
things.
I call down from above of the stairs. I was like, "Yeah, and I hope you come back in a suit that isn't the color of poop."
He turns around because he had no idea you were there to try to see where that was coming from, and he's speechless. And he turns on his heel and marches down the front steps, and down the path, and his guys sort of fold in and follow him out to the car. Take an attitude for that one-liner, please.
Oh, well, I'm all up. It's fine. I just wanted to throw that out there anyway.
All right.
How did Clarissa and her friends how were they reacting? I imagine Pat was kind of like looking through the door to see if they were being bothered by the men in black.
Yeah, they seem spooked. They are not pleased that these guys have shown up, and they're they were watching. They had stopped attempting to hand out flyers, and they were all like turned and watching the exchange that occurred between you on the at the front door, and now they're all sort of whispering amongst themselves. And I think actually, as Randall the lawyer walks by them, he actually turns to them and like growls at them, just goes sort of in a threatening manner, and they all kind of back up, and he slams the door of his the back door, of course, of his town car, and his driver drives off down the street.
As we see him do that, I just turn to Pete, who's still next to me, and go, "I thought that was my job."
Nice.
That's growling.
Oh, the growl.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, well,
I'll give you an attitude for that one-liner.
Oh, I mostly just wanted to say it, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
No, that counts.
Chelsea did say nice.
So
Even though
I
it was named at her.
think Dylan lights up another cigarette. Who knows when he? I think he just enjoys lighting cigarettes more than smoking them down. He pulled out a vintage Zippo he got from his dad before he took off. Like that.
The flip.
Yeah.
So I think her attempts to keep a low profile probably aren't going to go over so well. They'll be back. Probably not so professionally, shitty suit notwithstanding.
I like the pun there.
Well, it's good to see you use your forces for, non-evil things, Chels. I say calling you Chels, which is a terrible nickname, but it's one that I think that I've earned with you for some reason.
And I am totally unaffected. Totally.
I say we just got to keep marking our territory. Nora, at this point, kind of her lips are drawn back from her teeth in sort of a snarl, which might be more threatening if she didn't have braces.
I love that Nora has this. This is very good. And I think as you say that, we get a view of the town car driving back up the road away from the man, and there's some ominous music as we fade out and cut to commercial. This is a good break point? Yes.
That's a great spot for a break.
Great. All right. So when we come back, the thrilling conclusion. Yes.
Yeah.
for sure.
Beastsiders.
Excellent. We'll be back.
I've been
in
like
just a
saying
few
that to
minutes.
myself. all week.
All right, we'll be back in a little bit, y'all.
And we're
We're
back. Thanks everyone for tuning in for tonight's special one shot. We're playing Teens with Attitude. This episode is called The Beastsiders because that's our team name, and we've got a lot of attitude. If you were here during the first half, but
Yeah,
without further ado,
you guys built up a ton of attitude, and I'm excited to see you spend it. I should take a moment because be throwing out a lot of attitude in this next half, I hope, to explain what it is for the viewing audience. So the way that this game works is it is called Teens with Attitude. You have a resource called Attitude. As we saw in the first half, you build it up by making drama, throwing out one-liners, and when things go wrong for you. You spend attitude, which is tracked on your in your playbooks. You spend it to add to your rolls, so you can bump things up to hopefully get a little more successful in what you're doing. And you also spend it to activate your key powers for your playbook. For your team playbook, which in your case is the Biomorphers, where all of your powers revolve around transforming into animals, and team powers, where you all work together to do friggin' awesome stuff. So, let's spend that attitude. If we're ready to jump back in, let's return from commercial break. Just for fun. What does everybody think? What commercials did we see? What vintage '90s commercials ran during commercial break for the Beastsiders? What are they advertising?
Firestone
Definitely.
tires.
Lupin Louie.
I
They
feel
had
like some sort of like safari themed Nerf gun.
Oh, definitely.
Something that ended with batteries not included.
There was
Yes.
an Entertech. There was an Entertech water pistol that was battery powered. It looked like a real gun, and that was like its selling point that you can get more '90s.
That's so. Oh my
Like
god!
the
I'm
look,
also
the feel, the sound,
That's
so
so bad.
real. That was like that was great. So, one of
Biomorphers
those.
branded like vitamin gummies. I bet
Oh,
like
nice.
I
Center's
love that.
vitamin
Yeah.
gummies.
Mhm.
Perhaps a fruit by the foot.
The start of
commercial.
merchandising.
Yeah.
Like I could
Yeah.
just go on a nostalgia wave. Like you opened up Pandora's box, David. I'm gonna close it up.
Hell yeah.
Ooh, no, it's the animal. It's a truck that has claws that come out of it. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Forgotten about that truck. That was
Transformers.
You forgot about the animal. Can anything stop the animal?
Oh boy.
This is gonna start a YouTube
Crossfire.
Commercial. Yeah, Crossfire. Oh,
Yes.
Oh, I remember
One
that.
That was top
more
tier.
game. Okay.
So we see all of those. We see all of those commercials, and we come back. Our initial shot when fade up from commercial is once again Bayview Manor. It's several hours later in the day. The sun is going down, and it is twilight. Here I think see a little bit of light coming out of a couple of the windows, and you guys have been hanging out in the manor for a few hours. What have you been up to while you're chilling?
I feel like I would have gotten Chelsea alone at some point. Like just not like a room, but I wanted to talk to her about. I want to ask her why she was so mean to Clarissa.
Yeah, let's see that scene. So we have this establishing shot, and then I cut to the two of you off to the side. Where have you gone?
What, are we in a different room? Like
Maybe
the
like just-
conservatory?
Yeah, something like that.
In the conservatory with the wrench?
Yeah.
Okay. So
well,
yeah,
like-
we cut to you in the which is a sort of a glassed-in room with this sort of beautiful curly-cued metalwork in between the glass of this kind of greenhouse terrace thing, and a bunch of just ancient dead plants that were grown in here decades and decades ago.
So maybe I'm like following you in here, and I'm like,
Mhm.
"Hey, Chelsea,
Yeah.
can I ask you a question real quick?
I guess.
You were pretty tough with Clarissa out there. Did she like do something to you, or
No, but I wanted her to go away because we can't have this place turn into a museum. That's no better than SGEM taking it. Either way, we get kicked out, and we need this place.
right? But she's like helping us. We don't want to. You earn more friends with Honey, right?
I don't think that's really true. At least not in my case.
It's just, we've known each other a long time, and well, over the last couple of years, you've gotten kind of mean. I just wish you would be kinder.
I mean, whatever. Who cares what you think anyway, right? You don't matter. You're just a guy who wrestles.
Oh, I think I'm more than that. I swim too.
Yeah. Well, lucky for you, nobody at our school cares.
Well, that's not true. Clarissa cares, and so does the rest of our friend group.
If you like her so much, why don't you just go make out with her, okay? And leave me out of this.
I dare you, double dog dare you, to think about someone else for once.
I think about other people all the time. You just don't know it. You don't even know me. And I just walk away.
I think you are both very much in that scene making some drama. Let's see how it shakes out.
I was trying to provoke.
Yeah, so Pat, you were definitely provoking Chelsea with your words or actions. I think this is going to be a roll plus cool for you because you're telling her that what she did, she thought was cool, but it wasn't really cool.
Right.
Indeed.
You're trying to tell her what's really cool.
7.
And that's kindness. Kids. Stay in school. Okay.
A 7, I can manage it, but I pick 1 downfall.
Yeah, so 7 to 9, you get away with it, but the person you made drama with you about it. And I think we definitely
I was
saw
looking
that.
at. Okay.
Yeah.
I was looking at the wrong one.
And you gain 1 attitude from that.
That's what I wanted.
Chelsea, give me. You were in walking away, ignoring someone you shouldn't. Pat was trying to get real with you. He was trying to connect with you, and you were shutting him down.
Yep.
So
Because he wasn't cool.
yeah, so that I think also relies on your cool because it's about your concept. You think cool as a terribly misguided teen. So Chelsea, give me a roll plus cool as well for make some drama.
6.
Ooh.
But you know
okay.
what? I'm going to use an attitude because I can to make that a 7.
So here's the one catch.
Mhm.
Okay.
Make drama is the only move where you cannot spend attitude.
Okay.
Because you can't
it gets
spend
you
and gain attitude at the same time.
Okay. That makes sense.
So your 6 does ride. You do gain attitude, but your drama backfires, and I'm actually gonna throw a condition at you.
Okay.
Ooh.
You storm out, but Pat's words got to you.
Mhm.
Even though you won't admit it, definitely not to him, and maybe not even to yourself. And you're gonna take the insecure condition.
Sounds about right.
So you're not so secure in your conception of your own coolness now that Pat has brought this to light.
One could argue that she never was.
Cool.
Cool.
So we cut from that scene, and I think we see two of you rejoin the rest of the group elsewhere in the house, and you definitely come from like different doors, like you've taken completely different rooms to the part of the mansion where all of you are hanging out. When you all reconvene, what's your plan for the SGEM guys? What's the discussion around that? Because you know they're coming back sooner or later, probably sooner.
I think
So
Dylan
what's
has
your
brought
discussion around
he's
that?
brought his bike inside to work on it in the workshop because like
What a
he's not,
Dylan move.
he's not gonna
Okay,
leave those
in
guys
the
out there.
workshop.
So
Sure.
he's welding it. He's doing like he's got like a welding torch and like a mask down for some
Love it.
reason. Like so when you come to him, he's just like cool dramatic sparks are flying.
Yeah, and we get a cool shot of you like
I flip
flipping
up the
up your
mask and I've
welder's
got a lit
mask with-
cigarette underneath. Like somehow I'm smoking while welding.
yeah, that's a
and I like
classic.
And I kind of toss it back, kind of like a Joey Lawrence circa Blossom season 2, like kind of thing going on. I put it down and saying like, we're gonna need a plan to deal with these assholes when they come back. These douche nozzles are not gonna take no for an answer. I think. 'Cause I don't know if douche nozzle is period appropriate, but I'm
Going with it.
I'm gonna allow it. It's if it isn't period appropriate, it's situational appropriate.
I think in this moment, Nora finally gives up on trying to get Pete to run lines with her for the play.
Yeah, Pete's just like laying down on the couch.
Give me a 2-second scene of that. I want to see 2 seconds of that.
Oh gosh, we didn't decide what play it was.
What was the play?
Obvious.
What's the play?
It's high school. It's probably Shakespeare.
Romeo and
it's
Juliet.
definitely Romeo and Juliet. I mean, that's-
Yeah. Nora, you've been cast as Juliet, and Pete, you've been cast as Romeo.
For some reason.
Because the drama teacher knows you have it in you. You can see your genius.
I think I'm like
Go to Broadway.
lying. We're doing like the death scene, and I'm like lying there pretending to be dead. And Pete has like wandered off, so I just sit up and like, you're supposed to say a dramatic monologue over my dead body. It's like one of the greatest works in English literature, or whatever.
Right. How does it go?
And you're the one with the lines. You have your book right there.
But
Wait,
you
where
know
did you
it.
even put it?
You know it so well. I don't know. Just tell me what the lines are. You know it.
All right, I'm gonna say you guys are upstairs here on the main floor of the manor, and at this point, as you guys are having this back and forth, and Pat and Chelsea, the two of you come back into the room, and Dylan, you're examining your work that you're doing on your bike. You all hear from the basement like a clatter of some sort of metal something falling to the floor, and then a little bit of a scuffle, and then silence. What do you do?
You don't think
I'm gonna
it's-
jump up and go directly towards the nearest way downstairs.
Okay, cool. So you are reasonably close to the main stairs. There's a grand staircase in the foyer of this manor, and sort of back around and behind it, there's a door that leads down to the cellar. So, Pat, you make a beeline for that cellar door.
Right. I'm down the stairs and towards the door.
I turn to Dylan, take the cigarette from him, and ask, do you want to go check that out? Because I needed a cigarette, but also fly.
he picks up like a wrench that doesn't work on that bike, but the people who were like setting up the props didn't really think about it. So he's got like some kind of big socket wrench, and he's like, "Yeah, go check it out."
All right.
Chelsea
What
takes a
about
drag.
Pete sees
Yeah.
that and he's
Right,
just like,
Pete.
oh.
And he gives you a look. He sees Pete and he makes eye contact, and
And Pete's just like, well, I'll go back to Nora then. I just go go back around the corner and be like, all right.
All right. So Pat and Dylan, you're Pat, you sort of go down into the basement. It's old. There's cobwebs everywhere. It's dark. I think installed electric lights at some point, but fairly late. So all the lighting is sort of just like wired up to the beams, and all the bulbs have long since burnt out. And so it is very dark down there. There's maybe a little bit of moonlight filtering in through some sort of like low I don't know what you call those windows that are at like the top of basements.
Right.
Yeah.
The garden level windows.
Yeah, those. There's maybe a little bit of like thin moonlight filtering, but it's dark. It's just a lot of old wood. The floor is just like packed earth. And you sort of you go down these very creaky stairs, and you pop your head around the corner of one of the beams, and I think Dylan, you come up behind, you kind of Scooby-Doo above him, or below him. I don't know which one of you is taller.
Oh, below.
I think you're both pretty tall, but Pat is very tall, so maybe just slightly. Yeah, Dylan, you're just
I'm like
below.
Hollywood tall, so like I'm actually like 7 inches shorter than most people would be.
Yeah,
Somehow it creates the right dimension with my head size to be,
You're going to be filming a lot of your actor films a lot of platform shoes throughout his career.
It helps de-age me considering I'm cast pretty young.
Yeah. So Pat, you're the first in there, and you're listening for what's going on and trying to examine the situation. So give me a roll to get the 411 here.
Okay. What do I add to that?
So that is going to be plus sharp because you are observing the situation.
Oh no! I don't even know Pat's sheet, but I know that can't be great.
It's the worst.
not the jock's strong suit. But who knows? Maybe you get lucky.
You can bump that up with some attitude.
I want to spend an attitude and at least take a 7 on that.
All right, so spend 1 attitude. You bump that up to a 7, and 7 to 9. You get to ask me a question. I'm going to give you a truthful answer, but you might not like it. So, what would you like to ask?
Ooh, I'm really listening. Is someone here? Where did that noise come from?
Okay, cool. So you cock your ear, you listen carefully, and you hear shuffling. It sounds like a couple of people, and it sounds like they're on the side of the cellar. It seems like they might have come in through. There's some storm doors. In the back, sort of if you go around the cliff side that this is built on, off on the side, not directly overlooking the cliff, but sort of on the side of the house, there are some storm doors that go down into the cellar, and those were definitely chained and have been the entire time that your group has been in this house.
So I imagine that Dylan.
But that's the direction.
Okay. As soon as Dylan comes down behind me, I'm gonna like stop him with my elbow and be like, "People."
And I turn around the corner and kind of smirk, being like, "These Girl Scouts get really aggressive about selling these cookies, aren't they?"
One-liner.
Yeah.
In response, all you can hear is just like this growl, but like not like that, like a wolf growl, but like this almost just like rumble coming from within his chest.
Yeah, and I think Dylan, you say that loud enough that you hear like, you know, that sort of like very pronounced absence of noise that happens when there's like somebody moving around and then they suddenly stop. And they weren't really making noise before, but all of a sudden they're trying not to make noise and it's somehow audible. It's that.
Mhm.
If you start growling, I'm gonna turn the corner and like do my my most nonchalant hey guys, we can hear you, so let's stop pretending, huh? I'm trying to. I think I'm gonna try to just like build up some to demonstrate some bluster and maybe like I don't know if it's I'm not quite there, but I want to bolster or kind of make Pat, who seems nervous, feel better, or kind of make him like something like that.
No, you've seen this from Pat before. He's psyching himself up so that he'll charge into danger and get +1 armor.
Oh, okay, never mind. I have seen this before.
Cool.
So I think I'm doing my shtick of I want to at least intimidate them or make them feel like these guys who are breaking in are threatening are so now like out of their element. So I'm kind of trying to intimidate them with my lack of caring.
Give me a roll to keep your cool. That's gonna be plus cool.
Okay. I'm doing is there a way I can use the whatever move, which is when you explain why you don't care about something, you can roll as if you can roll as if it was your thing, which means like I'm like kind of like not acting like I'm not worried, even though I probably am kind of like terrified. I'm like faking. I'm like faking myself out about how dangerous this situation could be.
Okay, I dig that. Yeah,
Okay.
I dig that. That can trigger your whatever move.
Yeah, because I'm just like these guys are nothing to me.
So you can make this roll to keep your cool as though you were using your thing. When you use your thing, which is something that is specific to each character, some interest of theirs or object that they possess, you get to roll twice, and you can take the higher of the two results.
So I rolled an 11 and a 4, so I'll take the 11 if I may.
I mean, that would be my recommendation. You do you, but
okay, I
would take the 11.
So I come walking around and I'm like, que pasa, guys?
Yeah, so you totally do it, and you hear out from the shadows Wallace Randall's voice saying, okay, well, you caught us, I guess. No, wait a second. We caught you.
Let's just say we caught each other and, tomatoes, potatoes, man.
All right. Great. Well, I thought I was very clear this afternoon. You weren't supposed to be here. So, what gives, huh?
Mm-hmm.
If you're supposed to be here, why are you coming in through the storm doors?
That's none of your business, son. I don't think we have to explain that to you at all. And at this point, you can see in the shadows, there are a number of those sort of security types in suits who are behind Randall, and they start to sort of spread out, and it looks like they are slowly trying to kind of surround you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
At this point, because those two didn't come back, Chelsea would have made her way down the stairs.
Okay, cool.
Find.
So yeah,
find
you
the rest
come
of
down
it.
the stairs, and this is
Yeah, I wanna go with her and
as
just
your
kind of look around
eyes
and be
kind
like,
of adjust.
Yeah.
we can't let the boys have all the fun.
Nope. And Chelsea
Absolutely
will,
not.
when she gets down, she will say, "Hey, I told you to come back in a less crappy suit."
Okay, listen, miss, you are being very rude. For one, don't appreciate it. And again, I made myself very clear that you all needed to be out of here. And now, unfortunately, I am going to have to resort to more stringent measures. Boys, if you wouldn't mind. And the guys fan out, and they are trying to encircle you so that
Hell
you
no.
can't go anywhere. What do you do?
Nope.
I'm still coming down the stairs because I was last.
Yeah.
Right?
Pete was probably behind you.
Okay,
Just like-
you joined us.
Yeah, that's
So
dragging
we're
his
all in the
legs.
cellar now?
Cool. So you are partially on the stairs, partially in. I think actually what's going to happen here, let's make it interesting. There are 4 guys two coming out from either side of Randall to sort of encircle the people who are fully in the basement. And Pete, when you glance back up the stairs at the cellar door, you see a guy step in and block the cellar door.
Okay. I tell Nora right in front of me, and I'm like, didn't you say something they had crystals? Do you think they can do what we can?
And almost as an answer to that, Randall says, now this property is to the SGM Corps experiments, and well, we haven't perfected it quite yet, but I think you'll find our results so far pretty impressive, and they will be even more impressive once we knock this place down and build the chemical plant that we're going to use to continue this research. And he waves his finger, and the guys in the dark suits tap those watches with the weird crystal faces on them. And each of them lights up in turn, and you see their bodies start to sort of crunch and shift and change. And in a matter of seconds, standing before you are not guys in dark suits, but half human, half animal creatures. What
Tell me
animal
you don't like that?
What animal do all of the mooks partially turn into? They are half humans, half what? It's something a little scary, a little gnarly.
Half man, half bear, half
Ooh.
pig.
I was going for like some sort of a cat, like a tiger, or
maybe
something.
like
I'm thinking
yeah.
hyena or something with like kind of like big hunches and long necks and
All
like
right.
strong bites.
I like the rats and I like the hyena. So the mooks turn into these giant half man, half rat creatures. And you see their mouths and jaws elongate and their teeth elongate. And they sort of bulk up in their suits a little bit, and this dark hair sprouts from underneath their cuffs as you are confronted with, in actually really rather exciting traditional RPG fashion, a bunch of rat men.
That's all I need. I mean, I was like I bet you like the hair on my arms was bristling anyway.
Yeah.
So Pat like reaches into his sweatshirt, and his crystal key is on a gold chain, and as he grabs it, it starts to glow, and he just instantly like his clothes kind of shrink into him, and this brown fur sprouts, and it just goes on all fours and then like roars up and down. And I want to move right in front so I can be in the way essentially. And grab that +1 armor.
And Randall steps back and he says, "Oh, okay. Well, now I'm starting to see what's going on here. Maybe you weren't in this place just being a bunch of hooligans, or maybe you were and you got in a little too deep. But come on, just do something, huh?" And he gestures at the rat guys, who all start leaping towards the group. Pat, you have one of these guys coming right at you. He has his rat claws out, and he's going for you directly. What do you do?
So I'm gonna like try and grab him between my bear paws, and in a classic wrestling move, like pull him like over and like drop him behind me. A suplex.
Hell yeah, bear wrestling. Give me a roll to kick some butt. That is plus fit. As a wrestler, you're using your thing, so you get to roll twice and take the higher result.
And I'm morphed, so I got a
And you're
+1.
so you now have a +1.
So that's gonna be +3 with advantage.
Nice.
14 and 12.
Oh,
Wow.
devastating. So on a 10
Damn.
plus, you get to pick 2 options from that list to kick some butt. What 2 options do you want? Keep in mind that you have damage coming your way.
From this dude.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna I want to dodge and avoid the target's counterattack.
Cool.
And then I want to force the target to be where I want him, which is away in the corner, maybe in like a falling headfirst into a barrel.
Yeah, cool. So you rise up in bear. This guy thinks, oh, a big bear. How fast can a bear move? But you grab him, you flip him
quick.
In that awesome wrestling move, and slam him into one of the wooden beams of the cellar. And I think the whole cellar rattles with the force of this blow. And he slumps against the post and recovers himself. And is starting to get back to his feet. What's the rest of the team doing? Is it time to morph?
Oh,
Yeah.
very much so.
You might say it's morphin' time.
It could be.
Wrong game.
I'm gonna grab my crystal key
Beast
and just
mode.
look down at him and say, "I'm guessing these experiments of yours weren't approved by PETA." As I wolf out.
You would get the one-liner if you were sending the attitude to morph.
Following Nora's cue, I say, well, I'm just glad that we came out prettier looking than those mooks did. And I spend an attitude and morph into a red-tailed hawk.
Awesome. Pete.
Pete, yeah, just kind of turns around, puts out a cigarette, is just like, I guess I'll take care of this fart knocker upstairs, and then just starts to transform into this gorilla to take care of the one
Heck
behind
yeah.
Nora and myself.
And Dylan.
I think I start walking kind of casually towards Wallace Randall, and I think I look at him and I flick my cigarette and say, "You thought I was annoying in human form," and then I instantly I grab the key in my pocket and I just disappear, and like so it looks like it's like I disappeared, and all of a sudden you hear like this buzzing as I start like flying into his like nose, ear, and mouth area.
Yes. Love it.
Okay, fly
So
away.
good. And I think we get like a quick, cool shot. They probably recycle the same shot for every episode, but it's
Yeah.
fine. You're just sort of all posed together in animal form in kind of a nondescript area. And we get a
Yeah,
shot
it's
of that,
outside.
and then we go back to the action.
Transformation sequence. It's like throws like a 45 seconds out of every script. It's,
Yep. Sometimes they switch up the editing of which parts come first so that it looks like it's a different thing, but it's always the same
or the
footage.
truncated transformation if they do a couple in one episode.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So let's go to Dylan. Dylan, you fly form, and you're needling.
I'm gonna kick some butt in the only way I know how, with like really annoying bites, and I'm gonna be like in his ears. I'm gonna be like, so I think most of the danger is gonna come from like getting bit or like swatted, but I'm gonna use the word hero lightly.
All right, give me a roll to kick some butt plus fit.
Okay, my fit in this form is +1, so I rolled a 5. But I'm going to boost 2 attitude to get that to at least in a 7.
Okay, cool. So you get to pick one option from for kick some butt.
I'm going to deal damage.
All right, awesome.
And I think the way I see this is that in his attempts to swat me, he's going to like throw it, like run into a wall, like trip over something and fall down. It's like he's just going to be like injuring himself in an attempt to get me away from him, because it's just loud,
Yeah, that's great. I love it.
buzzing, loud. It's just awful.
All right, so give me a roll for your damage. That's a 1-3 when you're.
Okay. 23. I do 2 damage.
2. Okay, that's pretty good actually. All All right. So Randall Wallace swats at you. Dylan, you have 1 damage coming your way from him as he manages to whack you, but he loses his balance. He trips over. There's like some old boards or something that he stumbles over, and he falls to the ground. And he recovers pretty quickly, rolls over on his side, gets up, brushing off his suit, and is like, all right, well, you're not the only ones that can do that. And he taps his watch, and the back of his shitty, lame brown suit rips open. Plume of hair, spiky hair, just whoops out. And his face begins to expand and elongate, and his teeth sharpen, and his eyes become beady as he transforms into a half man, half hyena in a lawyer's suit. And now you are confronted with yet another dangerous human-animal hybrid coming at you. What is everybody else doing? Pete, you said you were gonna take care of the guy on the stairs. What are you doing about that?
Yeah, I mean, if he's not close enough to attack, if he's close enough to attack Nora, I'll probably just defend. But otherwise, if he's not, then I'm gonna go ahead and just kick some butt, take the fight to him.
Yeah, I think Nora was slightly ahead of you, so
Right, okay.
you are you're above Nora on the stairs.
Very well. Then yeah, I'm gonna do some kick some butt.
All right, give me a roll to kick some butt.
Oh no, this is plus fit. Also not great. Okay.
You get
Even.
+1 because you're morphed.
That's true, but that makes it 0. 8. Ooh. Okay.
Okay,
Eight total.
Eight is right
Yep.
in the middle, right in the middle. So what do you want to pick from the options for kick some butt?
When they're morphed, is that watch still there? The watch that has a crystal? Like, is that still visible, or does that morph with them?
That's a good question, because they're hybrids, so they're still suits.
Right.
Like you guys, all of your stuff sort of goes into you.
Right.
I think their watches are probably still on them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I want to go ahead. I want to take that from him.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah,
so
I just
what
want
does
to
that
straight up
look
try
like?
to like. So in like gorilla form, it started lumbering up the stairs to get up to him, and then he's probably just getting in a defensive stance, and like I go in like I'm going in for an attack, but these gorilla arms actually I just hold back his chest and then use my dominant hand to just rip off.
Yeah, just rip that watch off.
Right off.
And he screams and immediately with weird bone crunching returns to human form, and he's cowering beneath you in your gorilla form. And what do you do with the watch? Do you throw it away? Do you crush it? Do you?
I just crush it. Show strength.
Okay.
It's kind of like towering over
Cool.
him, like very intimidating.
So you do have some damage coming your way. So you're towering over. And in his sort of panic, he's going to sort of strike out with his elbow as he sort of tries to like crawl away from you up the stairs, and that's going to be 1 damage coming at you.
Got it.
Chelsea, what are you up to?
So Chelsea is a hawk, and so she swoops around the area. Funnily enough, I had the exact same thought Homer did, but what she does is she sees what Pete the gorilla does, and she makes a sharp turn and turns towards Wendell, and she is going to go in to attack him.
All right, awesome. That's kicking some butt. Give me a roll plus fit.
Alrighty. Let's see. I rolled a 5, but I have the attitude, so I will spend 2 of them to make that a 7.
Okay, cool.
And
what do you want to take from the list for kick some butt?
I also dive in as a hawk, and I go for the watch on his hand, and I sound like this.
Ooh, sound effects.
Nice.
Great.
I tried to make that screech myself, but it didn't turn out so.
Okay. So you swoop in and you latch onto that watch. And you're trying to get it off him, right? So
Yes.
you latch onto it with your talons, and Randall with his terrible hyena man claws just sort of rakes across you. He whacks you away for 1 damage, but you are able to pull the watch off as you go. And he, interestingly, doesn't immediately start to. He doesn't immediately revert back, but you can see him starting to.
Okay.
When you pull the watch off, some of the hyena claws on the hand where the watch was just sort of start to retract, and he says, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna need you back. That's company property that you've got right there." He is going to actually, as you fly away, Chelsea, leap after you and try to tackle you to the ground. What are you going to do?
I am going to.
I'd like to run up behind him and just grab the back of his shitty jacket.
Yeah, totally.
And herd him back towards Pat, who's still on the rampage.
Cool. Would you say you're maybe trying to defend Chelsea in this situation?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yay.
All right, cool. So give me a roll to defend someone. That is plus fit.
Sounds good. Very good for me.
You sound convincing.
I rolled a 9 though, so it worked out.
You can send an attitude.
I'm going to.
Yeah.
I hate this guy. I'm just gonna run up behind him and just sink my wolf jaws right into sort of his butt. Maybe get him in the butt me and around the butt and just yank him backwards.
Yeah, and you sort of flip him back over you, and you get a mouthful of cheap polyester, and we definitely see a shot of his heart boxers through the hole
I was
in
totally
his
thinking
pants,
that.
as he flies backwards over you and lands. Meanwhile, the guys, there are still these 4 rat guys who are in the cellar, and Pat and Dylan, they're coming right for you with their hideous rat claws outstretched. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna try and I don't know, just kind of stand. I'm used to kind of being in the middle, and I want their attention. I want them all to come at me, so I can just start swiping left and right.
Okay, cool. So 2 of them come at you, Pat, from either side. They're trying to sort of pincer you, and one of them goes in, rakes a claw towards you. Give me a roll to kick some butt.
Okay. That's
Nice.
10.
10, hell yeah. So you can pick 2 options from the list for kick some butt.
Okay.
And keep in mind you have 2 guys coming at you, both of whom are attempting to deal damage to you.
I'm trying. And I can't pick one of these twice, right? I can't dodge both of their attacks.
If you pick dodge, you would dodge both of them because both of them are coming at you. If you pick deal damage, you deal damage to both of them. These are low-level guys, and when you hit one of them, if you deal more than 1 damage, it's going to roll over to the next guy.
I'm gonna dodge and deal damage.
Heck yeah! So give me a roll to do some damage. That's 1d3.
3.
Oh, great!
Hell
Tell me
yeah.
how you take out both of these dudes.
Nice.
So, I'm just like standing there, and as they come closer, you can barely see him like lift one paw up, like a couple inches off the ground, like not trying to show what he's doing, but just waiting for them to be close enough. And in one like swift strike, his claw, big bear claw, slashes across the front of their suits, revealing like the rat chest underneath. And just kind of bowling them into the cellar wall.
Yeah, and they go down like 2 sacks of bricks. With 3 damage, you can roll that over to another guy. So, describe to me how you whip around and get one of the guys that's coming for Dylan.
So I like literally turn around, and there's this guy, I guess, like swatting at the fly.
Yeah.
And I just grab his pant leg in my mouth, and like throw him into the nearest beam.
Yeah, and he does a Wilhelm scream and slams into the beam, which cracks a little bit, and he slumps over, totally out. The situation is, Pete, you are menacing one guy on the stairs. The other guy, the other mook, is in the basement, trying to smash you, Dylan, as you're flying away. And Randall, in slowly morphing back hyena form, is on the other side of the basement and appears to be actually kind of lurching away from the main scrum of this fight. What do you guys do?
I want to grab the guy that that's in front of me, just like grab him, and then kind of like start barreling down the stairs and try to throw him across the room at Randall.
Hell yeah. Give me a roll to kick some butt.
Let's do it. That's a 6. So that's not great. That's a
Can I give him some attitude to help him out by like jumping in front of the guy and having him trip over my body?
Yeah, totally.
Like that's how I'm gonna help him out.
Yep, that counts. So you can hand an attitude over to Pete, who can spend it to bump up that roll to a 7.
To a 7.
Cool.
Absolutely.
So what do you want to pick for your options?
I'm just gonna straight up dealing damage. Or, well, I guess I want to use it to knock him like into the wall so that he stops moving, or like use the body almost as like something preventing him from moving. So I guess it would be force your target where you want them.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, deal damage is fine too if you're.
Yeah, because I'm throwing it at him. So yeah, that's going to be doing damage to both of them in some form.
Okay, cool. So you're throwing the guy at Randall.
Yes.
Cool. Okay. So you toss the guy across. I don't think you need to make a roll for damage because you definitely do enough damage baseline to get this guy. So you throw him across right into Randall. They go tumbling in a tangle of limbs across the room, and that guy is out. There is one rat guy left, and there is Randall, who is crawling towards. You can now see the barrels, which are still leaking a bit of that chemical.
Shit.
And as the guy barrels, Randall just savagely shoves him off. Get off of me! Idiots! You're freaking worthless, all of you! And he runs for the barrels of goop, and he, with his remaining hyena hand, grabs one of the barrels, lifts it up, and guzzles it.
No.
And you see the going dripping off of the side of his hyena mouth as he turns to face you. He raises his human unmorphed hand, and it morphs back into the hyena hand, and he says, "All right, well, I would like that company property back, but I don't exactly need it anymore. And he begins to grow.
No.
What do you do?
I like to think of that this at this point we've all sort of formed up into our like the cover of the VHS
right.
pose on the other side of the room.
100%. You're facing off on opposite sides of this cellar. So what's the plan, team?
I mean, if he's growing, in order to deal damage to him, we gotta grow too. Is that right?
Yeah.
I think we gotta work together.
About that time, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
All right. We hit the cool music for transformation sequence number 2.
A screech
everybody
echoes.
spend 1 attitude to grow.
So I'm out of attitude.
Oh.
Well, then we can't do
that's
it.
right.
Can we give you one? How do we help you grow, though?
Who says something encouraging to Pat to
Oh, we
get
can
him
we can
that
telepathically talk.
Right.
That's right.
Yes.
So
Oh.
you hear from Pat in your mind like, I don't know, guys. I don't know if we can fit in here.
I'm just
Come
like,
on,
Pat is
Pat.
having a moment of doubt. We have
Come
to
on,
do
Pat,
something.
you got this. You weren't my best friend for nothing.
Oh.
And yes, I will reveal that he was my best friend. During
Yes,
kids, in order
Pete's
to
not
encourage
having
Love
him.
the power of friendship the whole time.
Yes.
Chelsea, you give 1 of your attitude to Pat. Everybody can spend 1 attitude to grow to giant size. Let me get a quick
Damn.
description from each of you what it looks like as you shift into your giant animal form, facing off against this monstrous big hyena man who is now occupying the basically entire end of the cellar. Dylan, giant form.
I think giant Dylan is maybe the size of a toddler.
God.
Oh,
it's like a
oh,
chair.
it's so
He is.
gross. I love it.
But he is, his proboscis is quivering
Ooh.
nonchalantly. And he kind of says like this anthropomorphic fly creature just kind of like stretches and says and so it's like it's really unsettling because how can how could a a fly be so brooding? But here we are. And he's leaning up
Just like
against
the coolest fly you've ever seen.
he's just leaning up against Pat. He's just who's towering above him.
Heck yeah, Chelsea, giant transformation.
Yeah, I
Chelsea-
think. Oh, sorry. I got confused about what our characters' names were.
It's okay.
Is that because you're really secretly actually a Chelsea?
Maybe.
We're learning
Chelsea
some things.
Chelsea was floating, and as she grows, like she very dramatically throws her wings out, and she grows to the size of almost like a small car, and to her friends, there's a screech is heard as telepathically she says to her friends, I know he can't hear me, but he somehow looks worse in puke green than he did in shitty brown.
Awesome. Pat, giant transformation.
So
Oh, no.
I think that fear of being too big, because at this point, like as a bear, he's a good 3-4 feet off.
Oh yeah, you're enormous.
So he's straight up bumping into the beams at the top, and they're cracking just a little bit as he's growing. And then issues out this roar as he's now a dire cave bear,
Yeah.
spittle coming off of his fangs and teeth.
Amazing.
I
Pete,
love it.
Giant form.
Pete, also in a similar precarious position as he's already a large gorilla growing even larger, next to Pat nonetheless. So it's just as he's growing upwards, I'm also growing upwards, but having to move to the side and trying to not crush Nora as this just this dark gorilla hair just gets thick, and I just gain basically my head, I assume I'm basically as tall as the ceiling at this point.
Yeah. And Nora, giant form transformation.
Yeah, I think you hear a sort of thunderous howl as the wolf form gets bigger and the fur gets sort of less gray and more white and almost seems to like glow, maybe even a slight bit of toxic green.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the jaws kind of distend a little bit.
And Randall in giant hyena form says, "All right, well, I guess that's pretty impressive, but if you think I'm scared of you kids, you got another thing coming." And he roars and rushes the lot. What do you do?
I want to defend everyone. I don't know if I want to like try and take the blow.
I'll do the same.
Cool. Okay, so Pat, give me a roll to defend someone. Defending the
Rolling fit,
that is plus fit.
and now that we're big, that's an extra +1, huh?
So
armor?
now that you're
Damage.
giant, you all have +1 armor. You can only take damage from other giant entities, like Randall,
Oh, okay.
and your damage is up to 1d6.
Great. Okay, so yeah, I'm trying to take the blow. That's a 5.
Ooh.
Ooh, wow.
Ooh, okay. So you aren't able to defend your group. However, you are going to get that attitude, and you have damage coming your way.
Okay.
So, all right. So Randall barrels into you and shoves you back, Pat, and you go tumbling back into the group, and you all go sprawling across the cellar floor. And Pat, you're going to take 4 damage, or you
Okay,
have
I'm
4
gonna-
damage coming your way.
I'm gonna reduce that to 2 because of my armor.
Yep, great. So you've taken 2 damage, and Randall he smirks with his hyena mouth, and he is still very much on the attack. I think he's closest to Nora at this point, so he's going to slam Pat into everybody. Nora, you go tumbling with the rest of the group, and Randall, with bestial speed, leaps across the room, coming straight for you. What do you do?
I'm gonna try and like fake him out until the last second, but like get my back legs under me so that once he's like coming down towards me, I can like leap up and basically like bowl him over and maybe try and get at his throat.
Cool, cool. That is kick some butt. Give me a roll plus fit.
Okay.
You got this, girl.
That's a 7.
Okay.
Ooh, nice.
That'll
Solid.
do.
That'll do. What do you want to pick from the list for kick some butt?
I think I definitely just want to take damage at this point. I'm angry, so I'm being kind of reckless.
Yeah, damage for damage.
Like, you know, he gets his claws into me, but I get my like jaws up around his throat a little bit and sort of shake him.
Yeah, okay. Give me a roll to deal some damage.
All right. 6
Wow,
damage.
very nice.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
All right. Well, Nora, you get in this tussle with Randall, and he's biting at you with his hyena jaws, biting at him. You have 3 damage coming at you. But
My armor catches one of it as I'm like,
Nora, you get him. Tell me how it
Yeah.
happened. How do
Uh,
you take him down?
I think as I leap up and lock my jaws onto him, you know, he's just like frenzied tearing into me. And we're just sort of doing this like really awkward, like sort of almost like slow dancing at a prom, like shuffling as I'm like refusing to let go of him. And you see little spots appearing on my fur, but my jaws are just like on his neck. And finally, I just like shake my head one time.
Yeah.
And you kind of hear this crack. And he just goes flying across the room.
Just limp ragdoll flying across the room, slams into all of the drums that are on the side of the cellar, and he just slumps down. He's done. The remaining rat guy is just watching this with a look of utter horror, and he says, all right, I was not paid enough to deal with this. I'm out of here. And he runs at breakneck speed up the stairs, and you can hear him slam through the front door of the mansion and bolt for dear life. And with that, you have defeated the SGEM corporate goon.
Nora coming in clutch.
Yes.
I know.
Nature versus a company.
Yep.
All right. We cut to a little while later. You are you're recovering from the fight in the mansion. You, I think, have reverted back to your human forms.
Mhm.
So what is the post fight scene before we end the episode?
So who's hurt? I guess that's the question.
Me
Yeah.
and Nora.
So
took a little bit-
Pat and Nora got pretty beat up.
Mhm.
And I took 1 damage. So
Yeah. So is anybody like tending to either
Yeah.
of them?
Like, I would definitely go to Nora and be like, that was pretty dope. Like, you're way stronger than I think you give yourself credit for.
Thanks.
You're not just smart. You're other things.
Thanks. You were amazing. Maybe, you could teach me some moves. And then,
Oh my god, yeah, that's genius. We could totally do that. I'm trying to give you a pep talk so I can heal some of your damage.
yes, I definitely feel pepped up.
Yeah, great. That 100% triggers that move.
Thanks.
Chelsea is kind of sitting on a
1
couch
point.
by herself, with a cigarette that she bummed off of Pete. And
I thought it was off Dylan.
nope, it was off of you.
Hey.
And she's just kind of sitting there smoking her cigarette and reevaluating the stuff that Pat said to her earlier about who she was and whether she's doing any good out there.
Yeah. Pete, are you there? Or are you elsewhere?
I think P was also actually talking to Nora, just being like, "All right, maybe you're right. I guess I could try and learn the lines. Like that was pretty cool. Sorry for not knowing them."
I think kind of looking between Pat and Pete and getting a little bit overwhelmed, Nora's just gonna run over and grab her backpack and sit down next to Chelsea. She's not used to any guys talking to her, even her friend.
Sure.
Just sort of after taking a big deep breath, whoa, that was weird. It's just gonna reach sort of very tentatively into her backpack and look over at Chelsea and go, I don't know if you're still into this, but I have the new Saddle Club book. And just sort of tentatively hold it out in Chelsea's direction.
Chelsea doesn't look at Nora, but she smiles and puts her cigarette out and reaches for the book.
Love it. Dylan, what are you up to?
I think Dylan is a little too I don't know, what's the word? Cool. for this bullshit. So he's off to the side and he's sitting on the Victorian porch, kind of is in the moonlight, and he's got a coffee that he's pouring, you see him pouring sugar into. He's the
A teenager?
fly after all. And it's basically making sugar water out of his and then drinking it regurgitating it back into the cup and then drinking it again as a fly would. And he looks back at
Terrible, I love it.
And he like kind of like looks back with back at the group of people kind of socializing, but then like stares out across the bay, realizing that he is and always will be alone. Brooding, kind of like.
Yeah. Cool. And with that, we pull back from Bayview Manor. You have successfully defended the manor from the SGen Corporation, but for how long? And what about those activists we see blowing in the wind down the street as we move away? One of the pink Save Bayview Manor flyers as we get a last look at the manor house on the cliff over the sea in the moonlight. Cut to black. Beast Siders!
It turns out the real transformation was the friendships we made along the way.
That's right.
We morphed from rivals into friends.
Oh boy. Oh boy. David, thank you for writing this game.
Yes.
So that we can play.
Did we freeze
Oh no,
David?
yeah, David froze.
Oh no, David is frozen. We broke him with our very bad one-liners.
No,
Oh, no.
he's just pretending to be frozen to turn the stream off. He's like, are they still there? Fuck.
We did so bad. He's like, oh my god, let me just bounce this way.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, there we go.
Hi.
Oh, there we go.
Hi, welcome back.
No
My
worries.
network connection dropped the second we finished.
Back in before, I guess.
It
Yeah.
knew. It
Yeah,
knew.
that's kind of perfect.
Yeah, so hey, thank you all for joining me for this test. I was so delighted to be on the channel.
We had
Yeah,
a
this was a lot of
blast.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one, man.
My nostalgia is so high right now.
Yes.
Also,
Great.
you gave us an outlet to take all of our corny jokes, put them somewhere to good use.
That's the goal. That's the
I had
goal.
one chambered. It was gonna fly on a shitty suit because I liked returning. I wanted to fly
Oh,
back.
yeah.
I like the suit thing because I seem to like be the most infuriating thing of
Oh
all.
yeah,
It's always
yeah.
like that.
I love that you
fashion
guys
shots.
went for their suits because they're suits. It's the '90s, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Also,
Suits
teenagers are
lame.
mean. If a teenager, nothing you can do.
Yes. Even as a middle-aged adult man who is a lawyer.
Yeah.
Oh man, so I went for the jugular there.
Yeah, loved it. If it's all right, I would like to just throw out a little plug
Go
for
for
the
it,
game.
Go for it.
Cool. So, if you've been watching the stream, if you've liked what you've seen, if you want to be a teen with attitude yourself in your own home, you can get the game at teenswithattitude.com. It's available on itch.io and DriveThruRPG. Right now, the game is in beta. And you can get a quick start edition of the game that comes with everything you need to get going, a short explanation of the rules, all the game sheets, totally for free, and try it out. So head on over to teenswithattitude.com, download the game, check it out. If you want to keep up with me and other stuff that I do, I have designed some other games. I'm also an illustrator and a graphic designer, and I post art and stuff. You can check me out on Instagram. I am david.brunellbrutman. So, yep, check it out if that seems cool to you. And thank you guys again so much for having me. I was really flattered to be on, and this was great.
We had a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
real
Yeah.
quick, I do want to. I think it would be a shame if we didn't show this. I'm loading it up right now. I want to show the cover art to the book because I think it's
Oh,
beautiful.
it's so good.
Yeah, so I'm going to show it on stream right now.
Oh,
so
yeah.
y'all can see just the cover art is beautiful. I mean, the whole book is great, but like, yeah, I just want to show that off. It looks so cool.
Well,
Look at that.
thank you very much. Yeah, so that is those are some teens with attitude.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Oh. Awesome.
Yeah.
Am I like really far behind on the stream?
Yeah, I'm not
Prob-
sure.
I see it.
Are you not seeing it, Chris?
I
There we
just
go.
refreshed.
It may just take a second. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
wondering. It's been kind of like I've seen some slowness.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, shut
Either
up,
way,
Renee.
David, thank you so much for coming and GMing your game for us. Especially for being, this is the first time in a Cage Sustained history that we've had a guest, period,
Mhm.
and B, a guest GM specifically. So thank you
Well,
for
I am,
being
like I
that.
said, totally honored to be the first.
And hey, you
and
came up,
it
I
was a
think,
blast.
right at our 1-year anniversary.
That's true.
Oh,
That's true, it
okay.
is,
Well,
yeah.
happy anniversary! Congratulations,
Happy
guys.
stream anniversary, guys.
That's amazing.
Yeah. We're happy to have had a chance to celebrate with you
Yeah.
and some
Hey.
attitude-full teens.
That's great. That's great.
So if this is the first time you've ever tuned in to Manapot, we are a semi-global organization of role players who get together weekly online and stream our games for fun and not really for profit. You can check the games button down below. I don't know. To see our monthly calendar, and don't forget to join us in the Discord so that you can stay connected in between, chat about stuff, what not, what have you. Anything else?
No, just
We'll
thank
be
you for
back
giving
with
us a
regular
break. Yeah.
Cage
Yes.
Sustained next
Yeah, thank
week.
you for
Yeah.
a much needed break from our normal
Yeah,
game where we're all dreading a TPK. So yeah, this was
If
great.
you-
This was great.
If you like lighthearted fun, don't come back next week.
Oh, I'm sure we can find it
Tears
somewhere.
and blood.
But if you want to watch a player character die in real time, do
Potentially.
come back next week. Potentially.
And a broken heart of a player, potentially.
What was that, David?
I said both of those things sound fun to me. Either option.
Excellent.
Thank you everyone for being here with us tonight. Thank you again, David. And as always, at Manapot Studios, come game with us. We're here every week.
Excellent.
Bye.
Bye, y'all. See
Bye,
you next week.
guys.